Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm Jekyll, and today I'm doing a very different kind of video. So, a couple months back, a friend of mine on YouTube, goes by the name of Video Creep, he put out these two videos called Songs Dedicated to Horror Movies. I thought the videos were pretty great. You should go check them out yourself. I'll have the links of them in the videos were great. I loved them. You'll find the links to them in the description of my own. But a couple months back, when I first watched them, I put on my comments for suggestions to what other songs he could have on there for different horror movies. And instead of using them, he actually replied to me that I should make my own, because I had so many suggestions. So, here we are. So I'm going to be going over all the suggestions that I gave him, as well as several more that I ended up picking up over the past couple months. Because I was originally going to put this video out before Halloween, before I uploaded my Headsman video. Unfortunately, I came down with a really bad cold, the worst that I've ever come under in my entire life. So that's why I haven't really had a lot of videos in the past couple weeks. That's why I haven't done any full videos lately. So without further ado, let's get started. So first film on the list, well actually first series, would be Child's Play, Chucky. Now, Child's Play is one of my favorite horror movie franchises of all time. It's one of the 3 series that I've binged front to back in an entire day. Chucky's one of my favorite killers of all time. And I think this song fits him perfectly. My body is a cage. Next up on the list, the Final Destination series. I'll admit I have not seen a single one of these movies, but I still think that the song that fits the series well is this one. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, or the rain. Going back to the slashers, we got Friday the 13th. This one is my second favorite horror movie franchise, right up there with Child's Play. Friday the 13th is one of my favorite series of all time. I dressed up as Jason for Halloween. A lot of my short films and short videos that I do are largely based on the Friday the 13th series. Jason Voorhees will always be one of my favorite killers, right up there with Chucky, Michael, freaking Freddy Krueger. But the song that I think fits him well is this one. It's Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Fun fact for those of you out there, that song is the real reason why he keeps on killing. Next up on the list, continuing with the slasher genre, we got the latest installment in the Halloween franchise, Halloween Kills. I thought the film was okay. You'll find my more in-depth review in the description, and I'm also going to put up as a link up in the corner. But I guess to sum it up right now, it was basically the Star Wars The Last Jedi of the Halloween franchise. I still enjoyed it, mostly because of the kills. Michael Myers is a great slasher, but because of how many kills and how bloody that movie is, I think this song more than fits the tone of the entire film. Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the... Continuing on to the big 3, we got the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I have seen every single one of these movies. I haven't liked them enough to binge every single one of them, but Freddy Krueger is still an awesome killer. What I do like about him is just how campy he can get. He has fun with kills. He's not really like Jason or Michael, who just mindlessly kills people. When he does it, he's actually enjoying it. And because of that, I actually have a slew of different songs that are dedicated to him. Most of them are more about his powers and the kills, but we're just going to run through them real quick, so here we go. Dream on, dream on, dream on. Mr. Simon, bring me a dream. Bum, 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 bum. It's your fucking nightmare. away from the slashers, we got the movie Cabin Fever. I've only seen the remake of this one that I believe was still directed by Eli Roth. If not that, then at least produced by him. I never saw the original, but the remake was pretty good. I'll have to watch the first film to actually compare the two. But because of the whole plot line with the victims gaining the flesh-eating disease and slowly dying out, this song more than perfectly fits it.
I've got you under my skin.
Shifting back to the horror icons, or the more popular characters, we got Hellraiser and Pinhead. This one's a little bit of a freebie, but when I first heard the song on the radio last week, I instantly thought of the Hellraiser series. Alright, continuing with the obscure slashers, we're moving on to Leprechaun. I've never seen a single one of these movies. I have no intention on seeing them. I will much prefer Warwick Davis as playing Wicket the Ewok or Willow. But either way, since it's about Leprechaun and St. Patrick's Day and the luck of the Irish, not necessarily like all of those things, here's another song by Frank Sinatra.
Luck be a lady tonight.
And moving away from the slashers into the more body horror, we got Evil Dead. This one is always like sort of like a hidden gem of mine. I really like Sam Raimi as a director and like what he was able to do with the first film, even though he never got the rights for it when he was making the second one. But him and Bruce Campbell do wonders together. It's no wonder why Bruce Campbell always makes a cameo in his films. I'll be looking for Bruce Campbell to pop up in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness when it finally comes out. But this one's also a pretty easy song that I figured out, kind of like with the Hellraiser choice. But as soon as I heard it on the radio, just like with Hellraiser, I instantly thought of Evil Dead. Hail to the King, baby. Alright, shifting gears and going back in time all the way to the old Universal monster movies. First we got The Invisible Man, which I guess technically could include like the Hollow Man that starred Kevin Bacon, as well as the most recent Invisible Man that came out from Blumhouse. This one is also a very obvious choice, but I remember hearing this song during the game Watch Dogs, and it was actually one of my favorite songs to listen to while I'm driving around hacking traffic lights. But without wasting any more time, here's the song. Alright, continuing the Universal monsters, we got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Really, this could go for like any incarnation, but the first one is, of course, the most obvious choice. This song that I chose is a little bit more tongue-in-cheek and mostly geared toward like Dr. Henry. But anyway, here's the song. And actually, hold on. I just thought of this while recording this. This isn't even posted as a note on my phone or anything, but I just thought of this one other song by Five Finger Death Punch that fits those two characters. You guys probably even know already what it is when I mentioned Five Finger Death Punch, so let's go anyway. Just like Jekyll and Hyde. Alright, next up we have Sleepaway Camp. I'll admit I've never seen any one of these movies, not the original, not the sequels, not the soft reboot that came out in the 2000s, but I have heard that it's a cult classic, so I might get around to seeing it sometime. but because I know the twist ending, my brain immediately went to this song. Next up on the list is the movie Night Thief. This one came out just very recently on October 20th. The story was okay. It's just about vampires and an Uber driver. There's not too much story you can really go about that. I can't even remember who exactly starred in it. But all I really got out of it was the fact that Megan Fox only had about like a 5-minute cameo. But overall, the movie was okay. And the whole reason why I put this video off for so long, aside from the fact that I got that cold that I mentioned earlier, is the fact that I wanted to wait for this movie to release so that I could dedicate this song to it. Alright, we're almost done here. Next up is The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is another movie that I've been meaning to see for a really long time. I do know the gist of it, where it's basically about it's sort of like a mockumentary about a guy who wants to become the next Jason Voorhees or the next Michael Myers. And because of that whole motivation and that whole plot point, this is the song that I'd pair him up with. Mr. Bad Guy, yes, I'm everybody's Mr. Bad Guy. Alright, and finally for my final 2 suggestions, I'm doing something a little bit different than just one movie or one franchise. Instead, I'm going for the entire genre of horror films. First one is dedicated to all the slashers, all the killers. Roll the music. And finally, my final song dedicated to horror films. This one is actually it was dedicated to all the final girls in horror. But after I re-listened to the song, I realized that it doesn't really fit the final girls. So instead, this is actually dedicated to all the token horror archetypes that are present in horror film tropes. So let's go. Alright, that's all the songs I had that are dedicated for horror movies. What are your thoughts on any of this? Do you agree with the suggestions I have? Disagree? Are there any suggestions that you have for horror movies that I didn't include here? Let me know down in the comments. Definitely check out Video Creep's channel. That guy goes way more in-depth into horror than I ever will. But that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys later.